Hey Scavengers, I'm Corrigan, Creative Director of Raw Metal. I'm here to talk about the changes for Raw Metal 1.2, which is available now. We put a lot of work into this update, and it's a big one, so get comfy. We had two main goals for this update. One was to bring the game closer to our ideal vision with quality of life features and polish. The other was to address as much player feedback as we could to resolve any issues people might have been having with the game. I want to take a second to thank all of you for your undying support, and let you know that we've read through all of your feedback, reviews, comments, and discussions, and we've aimed to address as much of it as we could for this update. First, progression. Raw Metal was designed at its core to have progression centered around risk versus reward. As the Scavenger makes their treacherous descent into Catabase 6, I wanted players to feel that sense of risk by making every aspect of the game driven by survival and the stakes of failure. You want to avoid getting caught not for an S rank, but to avoid getting pulled into a fight you can't win. You hit nasty combos not just because number go up, but also because it yields better loot that might save you later. You take the bosses seriously, because if you don't, you'll risk losing the gear you spent so long upgrading.
Hey, let's do the rest of this with my fucking eyes closed. Don't make a joke! Stop! Oh my god, what am I doing?
I really wanted the player to pause before deciding to return to the hideout or push further for more loot. Thing is, due to the structure of the game, the only way we could think to punish the player for failure was to put a price on retaining your progress. This always felt like a band-aid solution to us, and it led to some frustrating gameplay, especially when attempting bosses. Players would also just not extract at any point, get scrapped, and then would be completely broke and would have to start the game over from the beginning. So we've added a couple new progression systems to the game. The new default progression mode is called Descent. In this mode, skipping previously cleared levels is free, but descending to the next sub-level will add to a cumulative loot quality bonus. So after you clear each floor, the floor below it will have even better gear than that one, but only if you descend immediately without going back to your hideout. The bonus resets upon extracting or getting scrapped. To offset this bonus, Forge actions will cost 50% more to perform, incentivizing longer runs to take advantage of the bonus and accelerate progression. We feel like this retains the stakes of the game, especially in longer runs, allowing you to build up some momentum and fight to keep it alive, without having the frustration of paying or replaying old levels hanging over your head. We believe Descent mode best creates the core experience we want with Raw Metal, so we've made it the new default form of progression. The other new progression mode we've added is Story Mode, which plays more like a traditional linear action game. No real stakes, no gear fear. If you're scrapped, you start back at the beginning of the sub-level with all your items. You can also extract at any time with no risk of an ambush. We understand a lot of people like the look of the combat and stealth mechanics, but didn't care for the risk-reward aspects, so hopefully this will make the game more enjoyable to that crowd. Let's talk about difficulty. Raw Metal is a hard game. This was always intentional. We wanted you to feel like a lone scavenger on a suicide mission. Outnumbered, outmatched, using everything at your disposal to get even the slightest edge. But we never wanted it to be too frustrating. The game's fighting mechanics and combat design are a little unorthodox, so its difficulty can be unreasonable to some players at times. If the game's difficulty is getting in the way of you having fun, we've added several difficulty options for both stealth and combat to tune the game to your liking. Lowering the stealth difficulty will reduce the rate and range at which guards will detect you. The lowest stealth difficulty will let you straight up body enemies without even entering combat. Lowering the combat difficulty will give you more HP and make your dodge and parry timing more lenient, in addition to making enemies squishier and less defensive. I still personally strongly recommend leaving the game on its default difficulty and progression settings your first time around, and try to push through and get a feel for the game before lowering it. If you're really having a bad time though, or just want a more laid-back experience, most difficulty options can be adjusted at any time. Oh, and we added some harder difficulties too. At the time of recording, no one has been able to beat the game on brutal combat difficulty. It's certainly a fun challenge for seasoned players, but it's no joke. Play at your own risk. Difficulty and progression options can also be customized to create whatever kind of experience you want. Make it so instead of being sent back to your hideout, you're set to the start of the layer you are on. Lower guard vision radius, and increase detection rate for balance, so you won't be detected from off-screen. Dodge or parry automatically. Give yourself 10 hit points. It's all up to you how you want to customize your experience. Break the game, I dare you. Alright, new character time. A major issue we noticed about the game was a massive early game skill wall with the jump between fighting regular single attack guards and taking on Trevor. In fact, less than a quarter of players have beaten the first boss. We didn't do much in the game leading up to the first boss fight to prepare the player for a boss's moveset. Enter Forge Keeper Lila.
Who the hell are you?
Somebody could really use that forge.
You're not touching my forge.
Lila guards each forge in Catabase 6. and she'd rather throw down than let you mess with them. She has one attack pattern, which is 2 consecutive swings that are uninterruptible. The hope is that players will learn to dodge both attacks before dishing out punishment during her recovery, or try to get swipes in between your attacks without leaving themselves open. Once she's defeated, the player will gain access to the forge, and she'll move down to the next layer. At each forge, she'll acquire a new move that will foreshadow the abilities of the next boss, and prepare the player a bit for what's to come. We feel Lila's addition to the game both brings some great personality with her rivalry to Scav, and a wonderful performance from Ellie Maeve, our new cast member, and turns the boss skill wall into more of a skill curve, hopefully making the first boss less daunting without having to actually nerf him. We've wanted this in the game for a long time, and we finally got around to it. Guards will now actually interact with the environment while on patrol, which honestly makes the game look way more naturalistic and less like everyone's just standing around doing nothing. We've added 5 new main animations for guard idling: typing, leaning, crouching, standing over a desk, and writing on a notepad, with 3 height variants for the last one. Guards will transition into and out of each animation somewhat smoothly, which I think looks quite nice. It took me and Jordan a decent chunk of time to animate these, and even longer to retrofit them over existing guard patrols, but in my opinion it was totally worth it. Control rebinding is finally here, with 2 preset layouts and 3 custom layouts to bind to your liking. Try the tap heart attack preset if you'd rather have heart attacks bound as separate buttons instead of holding down the quick attack buttons, or use a custom layout to bind a heart attack modifier button, letting you hold one button and tap the attack buttons to perform heart attacks instead of quick attacks. You can also change sneaking, sprinting, and target mode cycling between hold and toggle. In addition to difficulty, progression, and control customization, we've greatly expanded the options menu to feature several quality of life and accessibility features, including an eye-friendly mode that produces bright and flashing visual effects, subtitle character names, adjustable camera shake and film grain, windowed mode, and toggleable UI elements like attack, target, and vision indicators, and enemy HP numbers. You can also turn off slow motion effects that trigger on things like dodges and parries for players who found it to be getting in the way of their timing. For those of you who've completed the game, there's now an option to switch out of New Game Plus after starting it. We've also added camera controls for times when the automatic camera isn't quite cooperating. I think we can agree the camera is one of the weakest parts of the game, and the addition of rudimentary controls certainly doesn't make it perfect, but it will keep you from being stuck at a bad angle. Alright, we added a ton of other stuff, so lightning round, here we go. Finisher screen skipping, detailed gear effect descriptions, taser parrying, sent guards knocking back other guards, improvements to gear appearance. Grimmite boots and gauntlets now give a ton of Grimmite back on a raw finisher, making them based as shit. Guards hitting each other no longer has hit stop and the parry does. Lens dirt, new finisher screen angles, redistributed voice logs so you won't accidentally hit one for the 15th time, a metric shit ton of bug fixes. And finally, for the holiday season, Mudman is back. Alright, now that you've gotten the rundown of what to expect in this update, I'd like to once again thank all of you for the unbelievable support you've shown us. This really just started out as a passion project of ours when we had next to no experience. I never thought it would have gone this far, but all of you showing your love and support for the game has meant more to me and the rest of Team Crucible than you could ever know, and has pushed us to go farther than we ever thought we could. For the comments, the feedback, the fan art, everything, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. This is probably going to be the last major content update for Raw Metal, but it's almost certainly not the last you'll hear from us. I love making this devlog, and I wish I'd had more time to make more of them during the game's initial development. Having grown up watching Intruder and Overgrowth devlogs on YouTube, making one myself has been a blast. I hope to be more proactive about showcasing our future projects as we develop them. Alright, scavengers, thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoy the update. If you don't own the game yet, or know someone who you might want to gift it to for the holidays, it's currently 30% off for the Steam Winter Sale. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or Blue Sky for updates, and join our Discord if you like. Have a good one, and happy holidays.